While most farmers focus on nurturing their crops and tending to livestock, the land they cultivate often holds secrets buried deep beneath its surface. Around the globe, routine farming activities have unexpectedly turned up astonishing finds that challenge our understanding of history. These discoveries can turn an ordinary day in the field into an extraordinary glimpse into the past. From hidden treasures to eerie remnants from bygone eras, here are 20 shocking discoveries made by farmers. Number 20. Glyptodon shell. In 2015, a farmer named José Antonio Nieves from Argentina was out for a walk on his property when he stumbled upon something straight out of a prehistoric era. Nestled in the muddy banks of a small river near Buenos Aires, José spotted a large, scaly, black object. At first glance, he thought it might be some kind of dinosaur egg. As José began to dig around the object, more of its rounded, armor-like shell was revealed. This was no ordinary discovery. It was the fossilized shell of a glyptodon, an enormous creature that roamed South America thousands of years ago. Picture a Volkswagen Beetle-sized armadillo, and you've got a pretty good idea of what a glyptodon looked like. These prehistoric giants were built like tanks, with their large, dome-shaped shells providing them with protection from predators. Their tails were also formidable, used in battles with other glyptodons, much like how deer clash antlers today. It's believed that these incredible creatures lived alongside early humans, who likely hunted them for their tough, protective shells. When the news of José's find spread, paleontologists were called in to examine the shell. Experts were astounded by its near-perfect condition, a rare find in the world of paleontology. Number 19. Woolly mammoth bones. In 2015, James Bristle, a soybean farmer in Michigan, made a discovery that was nothing short of incredible. While installing a drainage system on his field, his equipment hit something solid. At first, he thought it was just another rock, typical in farm life. But as he dug deeper, he uncovered something far more astonishing: a massive bone, and not just any bone, but the rib of a woolly mammoth. The discovery didn't end there. After the initial find, paleontologists from the University of Michigan rushed to the site and unearthed nearly 40 additional bones, including the skull, tusks, and teeth of the mammoth. These remains were incredibly well preserved, thanks to being buried in pond sediments. The remains are estimated to be between 11,700 and 15,000 years old. What makes this find even more fascinating is the evidence suggesting that ancient humans may have butchered the mammoth. The bones were discovered in a manner that hints at the creature being cut up and possibly stored in a pond by early humans. This provides significant insights into human interaction with these giants during the Ice Age. The discovery has since captured the imagination of both the scientific community and the public, with the bones now displayed at the University of Michigan's Museum of Natural History. For James Bristle, this unexpected encounter with history has turned his farm into a site of immense archaeological importance. Number 18. Mysterious eggs. Jack was a farmer who prided himself on his well-kept crops and predictable routines. But one morning, as he prepared for what he thought would be a regular day, everything changed. As he walked towards his barn to start the harvest, a peculiar noise caught his attention. It was unlike anything he had ever heard, a haunting, almost eerie sound that made the hairs on the back of his neck stand up. But before he could investigate further, he noticed something even stranger in his cornfield. Scattered across the field were dozens of eggs, their presence as baffling as their appearance. These weren't ordinary eggs. They were unusually large and emitted an odd glow under the morning sun. Jack's daughters, Mary and Giselle, were just as mystified. They urged their father to take a closer look, but Jack, fearing for his crops, was ready to destroy them with his tractor. The girls, however, stood their ground, pleading with him to reconsider. The situation took a turn when the eggs began to tremble, signaling that something was about to hatch. The family watched in suspense as the first egg cracked open. What emerged left them speechless, a creature unlike any they had ever seen. The bizarre event sent shockwaves through their quiet farm, leaving them to grapple with what these mysterious eggs meant for their future. This strange and unsettling discovery didn't just disrupt their farm life. It raised questions that Jack and his family couldn't answer. What were these creatures? Where did they come from? And most importantly, what should they do next? Number 17. 1,000-year-old Viking sword. On a typical day in May 2024, Norwegian farmer Øyvind Tveitane Lovra was out in his field in Suldal, Norway, clearing stones to prepare for plowing. What started as a routine task quickly turned into an extraordinary discovery. Lovra noticed a piece of metal buried in the soil, initially assuming it was just a scrap from old farm equipment. But as he picked it up, he realized this was no ordinary piece of metal. It had a distinct shape, complete with a blade and hilt. Lovra had stumbled upon a Viking sword that had been buried for nearly 1,000 years. This ancient sword, measuring about 14.5 inches, dates back to between 900 and 1050 CE, a time when the Vikings were a dominant force across northern Europe. Upon closer examination, archaeologists discovered something even more remarkable: an inscription on the blade that indicated it could be an Ulfbert sword, a highly prized weapon among Viking warriors. These swords were known for their superior craftsmanship, made from the best raw materials available in Europe at the time. Lovra's discovery wasn't just a find, it was a window into the Viking Age. The sword, likely preserved by the dense clay it was buried in, was surprisingly well maintained. It retained its handle and a significant portion of its blade. This find is particularly significant because it is the first Ulfbert sword ever discovered in Rogaland, Norway, making it a unique piece of Viking history. Number 16. Columbian Mammoth. In 2015, Wayne McEwen made an extraordinary discovery on his 138-acre ranch in southern Ellis County. The Texas farmer was digging in a field when he unearthed a remarkably well-preserved Columbian mammoth skeleton, dating back around 40,000 years. The Columbian mammoth, larger and less hairy than its woolly cousin, roamed North America during the Ice Age. This find, due to its completeness and pristine condition, has provided scientists with a rare opportunity to study the anatomy and behavior of these majestic giants. The mammoth's skeleton was so well preserved that even its tusks were nearly intact, offering further insight into the diet and environment of these ancient creatures. After the discovery, McEwen decided to donate the skeleton to the Perot Museum of Nature and Science in Dallas. This significant contribution has allowed paleontologists to explore the mammoth's life in great detail and share this ancient wonder with the public. Number 15. Hoard of Roman coins. In 2015, in the quiet town of Unearthed, Switzerland, a discovery was made that would send ripples through the archaeological community. While tending to his cherry orchard, a farmer noticed something unusual: shimmering objects poking out from a molehill. Curiosity got the better of him, and as he dug deeper, he uncovered what turned out to be one of the largest hoards of Roman coins ever found in Switzerland. This wasn't just a small stash. There were over 4,000 coins, mostly bronze with some containing up to 5% silver. The coins, weighing a total of 15 kilograms, were buried around 1,700 years ago, dating back to a period between 270 and 305 AD. The coins spanned the reigns of Emperors Aurelian and Maximian, two pivotal figures in Roman history. What makes this find particularly fascinating is the condition of the coins. Many were in near-mint condition, their inscriptions still clearly legible, suggesting that they were buried shortly after being minted. Some of the coins were even found in small leather pouches, indicating they were deliberately hidden, likely during a time of economic uncertainty. The farmer, following Swiss law, promptly contacted local archaeological authorities. After months of careful excavation, the hoard was confirmed to be one of the most significant discoveries of Roman coins in Switzerland. Today, These coins are preserved and displayed at the Vindanisa Museum in Brugge. Number 14. Medieval Plague Pit. In the peaceful fields of Lincolnshire, England, a farmer made a discovery that brought the horrors of the Black Death back to life. While working near Thornton Abbey, this farmer unearthed a mass grave filled with the remains of 48 individuals, including 27 children. These victims, who lived through one of history's most devastating pandemics, were carefully laid to rest in overlapping rows. The grave dates back to the mid-14th century, during the height of the Black Death, which claimed the lives of nearly half of England's population. What makes this discovery so significant is that it challenges previous assumptions about how rural communities dealt with the plague. Thornton Abbey, known for its religious and medical role, likely became a last refuge for many who fell victim to the plague. Scientific analysis confirmed that these individuals were infected with Yersinia pestis, the bacterium responsible for the Black Death. Number 13. Mastodon Skull. In 2014, a farmer in a quaint town in southern France stumbled upon an extraordinary find while working his land. It was the skull of an ancient Pyrenean mastodon, a species long extinct. This remarkable discovery, however, remained a secret for a while. The farmer harbored concerns that revealing his find would lead to an onslaught of archaeologists and treasure hunters invading his property. It wasn't until 2 years later that he reached out to the Natural History Museum of Toulouse, where experts confirmed the identity of the skull. This mastodon, which roamed the Pyrenees between 11 and 13 million years ago, was notable for its unique set of 4 tusks, 2 on the upper jaw and 2 on the lower. Before this groundbreaking find, the only traces of this species were a handful of fossilized teeth discovered in the region back in 1857. The complete skull found by the farmer has since been hailed as a significant contribution to the scientific community, providing invaluable insights into the prehistoric fauna of the area. Number 12. Rat King. In the quiet village of Saru, Estonia, a farmer named Rain Kuiv made a discovery that would both shock and fascinate the scientific community. While going about his daily chores, Rain heard an unusual squeaking noise coming from the floor of his shed. When he investigated, he found something straight out of a nightmare: a rat king. This rare and eerie phenomenon involved 16 black rats, whose tails had become hopelessly tangled together, forming a tight knot that bound them into a single, grotesque mass. 7 of the rats were still alive, desperately trying to dig their way out of the situation, but the more they struggled, the tighter the knot became. The remaining rats had suffocated in the process, buried by the sand that the others kicked up in their frantic attempts to escape. This discovery was incredibly rare, with only 58 recorded cases of rat kings since the 16th century. Rain, not fully aware of the significance of his find, initially left the rats outside his home on some wooden planks for passers-by to see. However, when a local reporter caught wind of the discovery, it sparked a flurry of interest among scientists. The Rat King was later transferred to the Natural History Museum at the University of Tartu, where it became a subject of study and intrigue. Experts believe that rat kings are most likely to form in cold conditions when rats huddle together for warmth. The tails, already long and prone to tangling, become frozen and stuck together by dirt, ice, or even their own excrement, creating an inescapable bond. Number 11. 1,800-year-old Roman tombs. In December 2023, a Bulgarian farmer plowing his field in the village of Nova Varbovka made an unexpected and remarkable discovery. He unearthed 2 ancient Roman tombs dating back 1,800 years. The tombs, made of brick and lined with plaster, were covered with large limestone slabs, indicating the wealth and status of those buried within. One of the graves contained the remains of 2 adults, a man and a woman, likely aged between 45 and 60 years. These individuals were buried with a collection of valuable items, including gold jewelry, coins, a silver-plated brooch, and exquisitely crafted glass vessels known as lacrimaria, which were used to collect mourners' tears. The artifacts found in the graves date to the early 3rd century CE, a period when this region was part of the Roman province of Moesia. The smaller grave, which may have been constructed earlier, held the skeleton of a child aged between 2 and 3 years. Alongside the child was a rare bronze medallion depicting the Roman Emperor Caracalla, minted in Asia Minor around 214 CE. This medallion, along with other grave goods, suggests that the family had connections to the nearby Roman town of Nicopolis at Istrum. Number 10. Two-headed calf. In Baker County, Florida, an ordinary day on the farm turned extraordinary for farmer Dwight Cruz. After more than 60 years of raising cattle, Dwight was stunned when one of his cows gave birth to a calf with 2 faces. This unusual calf, named Annabelle by Dwight's daughter, has 2 heads, each with its own set of eyes, noses, and mouths. Annabelle's condition, known as polycephaly, is incredibly rare, with odds as low as 1 in 400 million. Despite her unique appearance, Annabelle faces significant challenges. She struggles to stand and must be bottle-fed, as feeding from her mother is not possible. Interestingly, when one of her mouths drinks, the other suckles simultaneously, a sight that left Dwight and his family both amazed and concerned. The family has been in contact with Ripley's Believe It or Not, as the longest any two-headed calf has survived is 40 days. Although the odds are against Annabelle, Dwight hopes she will defy expectations and survive longer. He continues to care for her, ensuring she gets the best chance at life. Number 9. A 2,600-year-old stone slab from Egyptian pharaoh. In northeastern Egypt, a remarkable discovery emerged as a farmer was preparing his land for crop planting. He unearthed a sandstone slab, also known as a stela, dating back 2,600 years. This ancient artifact measured 91 inches in length and 41 inches in width. It hailed from the era of Pharaoh Wahibre Hibre, who is often referred to by his other name, Apries. Wahibre Hibre's reign, spanning from approximately 589 BC to 570 BC, was a turbulent period marked by military campaigns and significant political upheavals. Notably, he was one of the rulers during the 26th dynasty of Egypt. The stela, rich with historical value, features 15 lines of hieroglyphs, intricate carvings including a winged sun disk, and a royal cartouche that bears his name. These elements point to the slab's connection to one of his military campaigns. The significance of this stela extends beyond its age and artistry. According to the ancient Greek historian Herodotus, Apries engaged in conflicts with the Phoenicians and faced a civil war that eventually led to his overthrow and the rise of Pharaoh Amasis. The ongoing translation of the hieroglyphs might reveal new insights about this era of ancient Egyptian civilization. It could offer unprecedented discoveries that could shed light on the complexities of this pharaoh's rule. Number 8. Tangled snakes. In the peaceful farmlands of Phang Nga, southern Thailand, farmer Boonserb Nakthongkul stumbled upon a sight that was anything but ordinary. As she walked near her duck pond one morning in January, she saw 2 massive king cobras. One was 8 feet long, the other 7 feet, and they tangled together in a wire fence. The cobras, entwined in a desperate struggle, had become hopelessly caught in the netting designed to protect the ducks. Recognizing the danger, Boonserb immediately called a local wildlife rescue team. Within minutes, a team of 5 rescuers arrived, prepared for a delicate and dangerous operation. The team carefully began to untangle the cobras, aware that any sudden movement could trigger a potentially deadly strike. Slowly and steadily, they worked to free the snakes, eventually placing them in separate sacks for safe release back into the wild. This dramatic rescue unfolded during the king cobra's mating season, which is why the 2 were found together in the first place. The male cobra, typically smaller than the female, was just as aggressive as his mate. In fact, the rescue team noted that these were the 10th and 11th king cobras they had encountered in just 2 months. Number 7. 6-foot crater. In the tranquil fields of Putney, Wiltshire, an ordinary day for a local farmer took a dramatic twist. While tending to his land, he found a vast, 6-foot-wide crater, the aftermath of an errant army artillery shell. This shell had deviated far from its target, traveling 5 miles past its intended destination on Salisbury Plain. It soared across 2 villages before making its thunderous descent into the unsuspecting farmer's field. Remarkably, despite the potential for severe consequences, no injuries or damage to property were reported following this startling incident. The Army responded promptly by halting all live firing exercises to investigate the cause of the shell's significant misdirection. Modern artillery are capable of reaching distances up to 30 miles. Therefore, factors such as weather conditions, equipment malfunctions, or human errors are scrutinized to prevent such rare yet dangerous occurrences. Number 6. Thousands of mice. In 2021, Australia faced a severe crisis unlike any before, a mouse plague of astonishing proportions. This infestation saw countless rodents overrunning towns and farms across the continent, causing extensive damage. In New South Wales, a particularly harrowing scene unfolded as one farmer discovered his barn overrun by swarms of mice. These critters swarmed across his property, engulfing machinery and the ground itself, which seemed to pulse with their ceaseless movement, creating a nearly apocalyptic vision. This explosion in the mouse population can be traced back to an exceptionally abundant grain harvest that year in New South Wales. The surplus of food allowed the mouse numbers to skyrocket, and this was compounded by continuous rains. This provided perfect conditions for these rodents to breed prolifically. The impact on farmers was devastating. Crops and hay bales stored for winter feed were decimated by the relentless gnawing of these pests. Beyond the fields, the mice invaded homes, contaminating food supplies, damaging linens, and even biting patients in local hospitals. Some farmers reported staggering losses up to $300,000 in crops alone. Reflecting on the past, the mouse plague of 1993, which was then considered the worst, caused an estimated $96 million in damages. However, the scale and impact of the 2021 plague have reshaped perceptions. It made it clear that such disasters could strike again, potentially with even greater severity. Before we move on, here's today's subscriber's pick. Recently, a Texas farmer was digging in a field when he claimed to have unearthed a terrifying creature resembling the mythical chupacabra. The image that surfaced showed a bizarre figure, a human-like body with the head of what appeared to be a monstrous blend of canine and calf. But hold on to your hats, folks, because all is not as it seems. It is clear that we're looking at a rather simplistic hoax. The creature is actually a person donned in an animal mask, dressed in rather dapper attire, complete with visible human limbs and no signs of underground distress. This setup was not the product of high craft or elaborate planning. It was a straightforward attempt to stir up some local lore. This image, intriguing as it is, serves as a reminder of the power of storytelling and the lengths some will go to keep the mystery alive in the age of the internet. What is your opinion on the existence of the chupacabra? Let us know in the comments section below. Number 5. Four-legged chicken. In the tranquil farmlands of northern Queensland, Australia, an unexpected discovery left a farmer in awe. A chicken hatched with not just 2, but 4 legs. This rare bird, born with a genetic condition called polymelia, quickly became the center of attention. Polymelia causes the growth of extra limbs, and while it's uncommon, it has been documented in various animals, including chickens. The chicken, however, faced a rough start. It was bullied by the other hens on the farm, pecked at relentlessly because of its unusual appearance. Concerned for its well-being, the farmer, Jess Leeming, reached out on social media, seeking a new home for the bird. Thankfully, a local conservationist named Olive Needham stepped in to provide the care this unique chicken needed. The extra legs, which dangled from its spine, didn't seem to bother the chicken, although its life on the farm was challenging. Number 4. Eggception. In a small farming community in Texas, a routine morning of gathering eggs turned into an astonishing discovery. A local farmer was going about his usual chores when he stumbled upon an unusually large egg in one of the nests. This egg was not just big, it was nearly 3 times the size of a regular egg and weighed over 6 ounces. Naturally curious, the farmer cracked it open, only to find another, perfectly formed egg inside. This rare phenomenon, known as a double egg, occurs when a hen's reproductive system experiences a hiccup. Instead of laying an egg, the hen's body adds another layer around the first egg, encapsulating it entirely. This can happen when 2 eggs are produced close together and the second one gets trapped within the first. The result? An egg within an egg. Something so rare that many chicken keepers will never witness it in their lifetime. The farmer's incredible find quickly gained attention, and the photo he posted online went viral, leaving people amazed at this natural oddity. While double eggs are safe to eat, they are a remarkable reminder of the surprising diversity in nature. Number 3. Octopig. In 2014, a unique discovery captured attention in rural China. It was a piglet born with 8 limbs, quickly dubbed Octopig. This piglet, the 3rd oldest in a litter of 8, didn't just have the typical 4 legs, but 4 additional limbs protruding from its abdomen. Like the rare chicken found in Australia, Octopig suffered from polymelia, a congenital disorder not limited to humans, but possible in various animals. The extra limbs of this little pig were non-functional, merely extra appendages with no practical use. Nevertheless, Octopig was otherwise a healthy newborn, engaging in typical piglet activities like nursing and moving about. However, movement was somewhat challenging due to its unusual anatomy. Despite the non-harmful nature of the extra limbs, they presented a care dilemma for the farmer, who had many animals to look after. With the complexities of potential surgery, the farmer opted against it. Instead, he committed to caring for Octopig as it was, ensuring the piglet received the attention needed, despite its unique condition. Number 2. Human-faced pig. In South America, a farmer experienced an unexpected and startling discovery among a new litter of 8 piglets. Among the newborns, one piglet stood out with its unusual, almost human-like facial features, which can be described as somewhat demonic. This peculiar piglet appeared much weaker compared to its siblings. It struggled to stand on its own while the others moved around. Observers were particularly struck by the rough manner in which the farmer handled the delicate creature, a sight that sparked criticism. Many felt that the vulnerable piglet deserved a more compassionate and respectful treatment, given its dire state. Number 1. World War II. German fighter plane. One day in Denmark, a young boy named Daniel Rom Christiansen and his father Klaus set out on what was supposed to be a fun project. Inspired by Daniel's history class on World War II, Klaus jokingly suggested they search their family's farm for a rumored German fighter plane his grandfather often talked about. Armed with a metal detector and little expectation, they began searching the fields. What they found turned out to be far more than just a family legend. As they dug deeper, the pair uncovered metal debris that soon revealed the charred remains of a German Messerschmitt Bf 109 fighter plane, one of the most iconic aircraft of World War II. This particular plane had crashed onto their farm during the war and had remained buried for more than 70 years. Alongside the wreckage, they also found the remains of the pilot, personal items like a wallet, money, and even a small book. The Messerschmitt Bf 109 was a backbone of the Luftwaffe, with over 30,000 units produced during the war. It was used in many critical battles, including the Battle of Britain and campaigns in North Africa. The discovery on the Christiansen farm was not just a significant historical find, but also an emotional connection to a time of intense global conflict. The remains were eventually handed over to the Historical Museum of Northern Jutland. Here, further analysis revealed items such as Danish coins and food stamps, which added even more intrigue to the story of the downed pilot. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.